Another Dungeon Keeper clone type game already, huh? Alright, why not? Well, why does the loading bar have weird arrows coming out of both sides at once? It's weird. Never seen something like that before. Like, why would you do that? Anyway, today we're trying Dungeons 3 as requested by Patreon subscriber Stephen Eckleby.
I mean, of course, the happy evil was ready for his third adventure.
Huh? Okay. Strange, brief, low context. Hang on a minute. Where's options? Continue campaign, skirmish, multiplayer, load, extras, Facebook, newsletter, and extras? Options. What? Okay. That's strange, but okay. Just wanted to make sure the subtitles are turned on and the graphics make some kind of sense, perhaps. We're probably fine. Let's get in there. Do I want to do the tutorials again? Perhaps?
Dungeon Basics. The newcomer evil should learn the basics of dungeon management.
Hopefully it's not too similar to the last Dungeon Keeper type game we played, otherwise this might be very redundant. We'll see.
The still learning the ropes evil had decided to try the excellent tutorials. Good choice. In this childishly simple introductory mission, it would learn the basics of dungeon management. Things like digging, building rooms, and hiring and firing creatures. Everything a novice evil needs to know. First of all, it admired the center of its power, the dungeon heart. This, if possible, should never be broken, as that would lead to an inglorious and permanent end to the definitely wanting to avoid this at all costs evil. Naturally, the most important resource for any evil genius was gold. One could make the best things out of the glittering metal, and nary a creature was going to let the absolute evil hire it and push it around without a coin or two. Sad, I know, but that's the way the cold, hard capitalist world of evil works. Although a little gold could also be stored in the dungeon heart, the little snots, the strange name giving evil's workers, had to travel long distances to do so. It made much more sense to build a treasury nearby. The fast-learning evil immediately began doing so.
We're now digging a space. You say build a treasury nearby. How does one build a treasury? Or do anything in this game, really? A room construction menu. That's probably a good start. A treasury. How about we build a treasury like right here? Perhaps? Then you can build a treasury. Basically, it's just saying, hey, you know those piles of gold you find, and put them in a pile. But like, right around where they are already. You'll figure it out. I believe in you.
Sometimes the bored evil's little snots didn't work quickly enough. That was the time to give them a hearty slap with the hand of terror. Naturally, this had to be done immediately.
I don't know, how did I, oh god, how do I slap? I'm just picking them up. Put them back down. I don't want them anymore. There we go. No, don't pick up a different one. Put them all down. There we go. How do I slap? Slap 0. How do I slap? Is that a slap? Help, I'm just picking them up and nothing actually is coming of it. Slap happy. Right click. Smack. Oh no. They barely react. I'm just gonna slap this one 3 times. Aha!
Threw a cagey glance at its population limits. These were divided into little snots and creatures. As opposed to creatures, little snots did not have to be hired separately, but were always regenerated up to the maximum limit. And so it was that the massacring evil didn't have to worry if one of these miserable creatures died. It simply had to wait for the next one. Unfortunately, creatures were a little more demanding than the miserable little snots. A hideout would have to be researched before creatures such as goblins and orcs could be hired. As loyal as the little snots were, they were unable to fight and took to their heels in panicked flight at the first sight of an enemy. Sighing, the unscrupulous evil set about providing a hideout.
This game's getting very talkative. Alright, well this seems distressingly similar to the last time. We did a tutorial for a Dungeon Keeper style game last month. So how about this? How about I just dig a giant grave for myself by giving up on the tutorial, starting the main story, immediately getting right into a brick wall where I don't know what I'm doing, and we just struggle with that. I don't know, I just feel like we might spend the entire time doing the same tutorial practically.
Absolute evil had crossed the sea and now sought the chosen target, a dark elf named Talia.
I can dig the fact this game has co-op.
Long time ago. The absolute evil had, in the famous predecessor to this game, subjugated the known world and defeated good. Now, in a world full of blackness and despair, it spent its days sipping cocktails from the skulls of its enemies and forging new plans over a grilled unicorn kebab. Unfortunately, there wasn't much left to forge. A few orc wedges, the occasional trick played on the little snots. There just wasn't anything left to conquer. As the weeks and months passed, the absolute evil grew ever more reticent and seclusive. From time to time, one could hear a slight murmur from the depressed evil's secret laboratory in the depths of the dungeon. Its creatures grew more worried with each passing day, and even started to miss its ingenious evil tricks. It was a somewhat confusing time for them. No beatings, no torture, and no being sent to a senseless death. On the other hand, it was a rather nice change. Eons passed, and the unicorn supply dwindled until suddenly, one wonderful day, the evil genius evil joyfully burst from its secret laboratory. It finally had a new goal. An unknown continent, as often found in sequels, lay to the east, sheltered from the wicked evil by naught but a puny little ocean. It immediately had a fleet built. This was so powerful that it covered the horizon from north to south and was manned by the best and most powerful creatures at the devious evil's command. The fleet set sail for the crossing to this new continent, left the harbor, and sank. Yet that mattered naught to the couldn't give a hoot about its minions' evil. It instructed its goblins and little snots to design an even more powerful fleet. These new ships were gigantic. Loaded with devious evil's second-best creatures, the fleet set out. And that sank as well. The annoyed evil saved his relentless anger towards the shipbuilders for later. Obviously, it would have to take care of the matter itself. With a sigh, it cast a spell and created a shadow of itself, a creature of absolute darkness and evilness. This shadow flew across the water towards the east. There, it would find a vessel, a corruptible being that would subjugate this land in the name of evil, and the shadow had the perfect target in mind. The great paladin Thanos, hero of the totally Eastern Kingdoms and a repugnantly good fellow. He was visiting the fatiguing library in Tristram with his comrades to see his foster daughter Thalya.
Well now, Talia, tell me about your studies. Are you making progress with the writings of the ancient sages?
Yes, dear father, I have thoroughly digested it and have come a step closer to the good. The desire within me to do evil is defeated.
Really? Excellent. I am proud of you, my child. Continue to concentrate on your studies. I must go to Stormbreeze to clear up a few matters. I'll be back soon. In the meantime, my loyal friend Grimly will protect the country. Should anything trouble you, you can turn to him. Isn't that right, Grimly?
Ah, Aye, of course, Janos. I'll keep an eye on the damned elf. Your daughter. You can count on me.
Then I'll see you soon, my friends. May the goddess watch over you, and the light burn eternally.
Bon voyage, dear father. I'll make you so proud of me. Who does good is good.
Yuck. Disgusting phrases like that always leave such a nasty taste in my mouth. These abnormally good heroes, on the other hand, had no inkling of the malignity gathered to the south. One moment a herd of sheep was peacefully grazing, and the next moment, whoomph! With a fulminant explosive effect that ate up half our special effects budget, the shadow entered the world. His target, a dark elf caught between good and evil, was very close. As the shadow of the unspeakably evil moved through the world, all around it died. Plants withered. Animals perished. Sort of like a picnic with my family.
Oh no. Oh no, this game's like the antithesis of my sense of humor. Help me. Help. Slow, stilted dialogue where half the joke is usually, this is a game, we're acknowledging the artificiality of the game, or this is a word from successful fantasy franchise, but slightly different. Twistrum, grimly.
Feel its target's presence.
Take these lanterns, men, and let the light of the goddess shine. For the night is dark and full of terrors. And there's a pile of horse poo around here somewhere. I trod in it earlier. For the darkness! I mean, for the light! Sorry, I'm still in training.
Yes, well, that is somewhat suboptimal. Naturally, the shadow of the almighty evil was an incredibly powerful creature. But, well, light was a bit of an issue. It would certainly be wise to stay out of the lantern light. The shadow reached the entrance to Twistrum. Fortunately, this one was not closed, but it was brightly lit. Luckily, there was an unfortunate guard on patrol that the shadow was able to possess.
I'm so far ahead of the dialogue because it's just so slow and never stops talking, but I get it. It's just not that deep.
Unfortunately, the shadow's possession only lasted a short while before the guard was able to free himself. Still, it was long enough to get past the gate.
I am like this close to muting the dialogue of the entire
The
game.
shadow's target was close. So close. Talia, the dark elf. Soon she would fight on the side of evil.
May the goddess be with you, my friends. It will soon be time to open the orphanage in the fatiguing library. Come to the big square and join in the festivities.
Well, I don't know. I had actually kind of planned to spend the evening in the bathhouse.
Friends, this orphanage is very important to my father. Tanos, you know, the mighty paladin, the one you really don't want to offend.
Yeah, all right. We'd love to come.
Excellent! May the light of the goddess shine upon you, and let us experience this exhilarating spectacle in the big square together. Follow me, my friends, for evil, the light, I mean. Keep the light burning bright, for the night is dark and full of terrors or errors or something like that.
We must escape. Kind of hoped we'd go straight into like a real mission, but it seems to be like a prolonged story intro chapter, I guess. That seems to be the gist of it. Do I have to possess this guy even though he's... Well, no, he's in the... Oh, I have to go all the way around. Yeah, these guys have lights. So I think I need to sneak all the way down to the Archmage in order to continue. Can you keep going, please? There we go. Oh, this guy. He keeps second guessing all of his movements. Aha.
Stop holding the lantern in my face like that, boy.
Goodbye, Grimly. I don't have the patience for your dialogue right now. Theodore Hork. Gerald de Kreisen. This is your
In the
fault.
distance, one could hear the unbearably good bells of a church. They must be marking the opening of the orphanage in the fatiguing library. Heroes with lanterns began to stream in that direction.
Uh-oh.
The crossing on a red signal evil shadow swore, or would have if it had a mouth, and tried to avoid the lanterns as much as possible.
Name of my father Tanos, I'm glad to see so many of you here of your own free will.
Is the irony that she's not here of her own free will because she's being brainwashed into being good? Because the loading screen shows her as being a bad person.
The time had come, and the shadow of the...
My dear father would be very proud were he with us today. He would be overjoyed to see us give the young and the needy a place to live and thrive. That's why I'm happy to take this orphanage and destroy it utterly, and all of you with it.
What did she say?
Die! Like lambs to the slaughter! I feel the power within me. It's over 9,000!
Unimagined
I hate it.
surfaced in Talia.
I hate it.
The black magic of the Dark Elves. She immediately began to unleash these powers of chaos upon the world.
She does 9,001 and 1337 damage with each attack.
I will kill you all!
I feel like this game was chosen specifically to taunt me.
I'll tear you to pieces!
The Dark Elf
was
raged through
weird.
Twistrom's inexperienced guards. She thereby built up a tremendous inner energy, which she released into the world as a focus beam, while screaming, Kamehameha!
Die.
Meanwhile, in the fatiguing library, they waited eagerly with coffee and cake for Talia to show up and open the new orphanage. The energy beam hit the cake with a resounding zap and reduced it to ashes. Oh yes, and the rest of the building and everyone inside it as well. The narcissistic evil patted itself on the shoulder for this. Or it would have, but the metal armor always made such a terrible clunking noise when it tried. But then again, that's what little snots are for. Obviously, the Dispatch Shadow had found a perfect vessel in the Dark Elf. Talia had already earned the title of Employee of the Month, with the utter destruction of the fatiguing library, as well as half of Twistrom. The destruction of an orphanage and the bombardment of innocent citizens with magic missiles immediately made her the minion-wasting evil.
I saw that face. God damn it.
Person. Her
Stop.
evil deeds complete, Talia withdrew into the vaults beneath the ruins of the fatiguing library. There, between the slaughterhouse and Mad Archbishop Lazarus's apartments, she prepared to create something powerful in the name of the absolutely ultimately evil. A dungeon heart, the cornerstone of any dungeon's power. Far away, Paladin of Light and Talia's former mentor, Tanos, was on his way to the Empire's capital of Stormbreeze. Naive and trusting as he was whistling cheerfully to himself, with no inkling of his foster daughter's dark deeds. Though he was aware that as a dark elf, she always had a core of evil in her. He had hoped to defeat it through religious indoctrination with ancient mad writings. Well, old bean, you thought wrong. Twistram in ruins. Talia, the Dark Elf, had turned to evil and laid the fatiguing library in ruins. Now she began to build a small power base in its vaults. Her first dungeon.
Let's do it. First real story mission, please. Or real gameplay. Let's do real gameplay now. No more weird RTS stealth mission?
Twistram looked like the leftovers from a heavy metal concert.
What? What have I done? Oh no! I've fallen to evil again. Father will be beside himself. He was right when he said, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Although, in a way, it was fun to be evil. Burning things, pillaging, and showing those nasty goody two-shoes where the hammer hangs. They just look down at me anyway. My revenge will be terrible.
While Thalya was delivering a typical villainous monologue, something happened around her. From the depths arose a pulsating crystal, filled with the magic-savvy evil's power. A dungeon heart. Not to be confused with those dungeon hearts from other games. We don't want to be sued. Again.
Hello, greetings. What seems to be your boggle?
Secret mental messages were exchanged between Talia and the mentally savvy evil's crystal. We could explain this in detail at this point, but that would require a 3-hour monologue on my part, and I am definitely not being paid enough for that.
Right then. I will make these people suffer for mocking me. Father's henchmen never liked me anyway, and always insulted me, calling me pointy-eared. It's time for my well-deserved revenge!
The game logic internalizing evil had given Talia an assignment. Out there on the surface were shamelessly good places in urgent need of destruction.
Nah, no problem. I'll take care of it. I and an evil army.
Naturally, the strategically well-versed evil did not send its new general into battle alone. A dungeon had to be built, and creatures hired to provide her with a powerful army. Of course, the sophisticatedly thinking evil already knew which way the wind blew in a dungeon. However, should it be hit by short-term memory loss, it could effortlessly look up things in the fabulous almanac.
I'm not trying to be overly negative. It's just that, holy crap. What a mountain of exposition for a game where you're not supposed to take anything that it's saying seriously. Like, none of the story is supposed to be taken seriously, but here's a mountain of story. Just endless piles of story. More story than you'll ever be ready for. And I'm like, I don't... Stop.
The grandiose evil's helpers had not been idle. Well, they hadn't exhausted themselves either, but anyway, there were now some research projects the researching evil could pursue.
It seems like a lot of gold over there.
New improved
We should get all that for my treasury. Seems like a good time. Alright, let's fumble through some of the stuff now. Research menu, there we go.
Improved research menu TM open and gave an overview of currently available technologies. At the moment, the selection was still limited, but that would change. After all, this evil crusade had only just begun.
No lecture hall. I think it's saying that lecture hall is needed in order to upgrade it. Hideout. The hideout is the Horde's bedroom. That's where they set up the camp and the hideout to satisfy their need for sleep. At the same time, they can heal from any damage suffered. And this is for food, I believe. Yeah. This will be a good start. From my gold. Give me something to do. That'll probably be our hideout room. I want them to collect all the gold. So much gold.
Uh-oh, a spider nest
Uh-oh.
has been unearthed.
How do I make a wall back? Shit. How do I put the wall back? Full of bad.
The bustling evil had discovered a room in the underground.
Oh, hi. Hey, orc. Yeah, you can deal with the spiders, right? Single-handedly, just kill all of them yourself? He'll probably be fine. I believe in him. That's all it takes, right, for him to be successful? Just believe in him. There we go. This will give us a couple rooms. We got a gobble place. We got a sleepy place. That's basically all the steps to having a base. How's Mr. Combat doing over here? He seems to... he's gonna win soon. Then he'll just go take a nice rest. And then the spider cave will be gone. So that'll be nice. Alright. More research then, right? More creatures. More little snots. Increases the number of your little snots by 1. Okay. Every time you put another 500 of this, you get another little snot. Gotcha. Here's my Naga. The slithering Nagas can maintain a healing array on a single horde target to heal it continuously. Awesome stuff. But that requires this other evilness metric, apparently. So something else. That'll keep us busy. More creatures in general versus more Nagas. Or more snots, I meant to say. It doesn't...
Payday.
There's actually not a lot of research today. In this particular game, there's not a ton of research options available in the first place, so... You know. Let's just generally say go get a bunch of stuff. How's Mr. Orc doing? He still says I have 1 orc, so he's probably fine. Pretty much just gonna tell these guys to go collect gold as best they can. And hope for the best where that goes. And while they're at that, my 1 orc is hopefully resting. Let's see, where is he? Is he right here? Yeah, there he is. He's sleeping his way up to having a big ol' full health bar. His name's Obgar. So he seems pretty nice. There's some chookies. There's some cheeky chooks over here. They're probably doing a-okay. I just need them to stockpile more money so I can add more everything in general. Let's just keep ramping up my number of slots. My snot slots. My slots for snots. The more of them there are, the faster they can mine. The faster they can mine, the faster I make money. Allowing me to not only buy orcs now, but continually buy more if I am doing poorly on money. If I lose them due to combat, I mean. That's actually a lot of that stuff. Okay. How much can this thing hold? It probably tells you here. You can hold 100 per room tile. Ah. So I can hold 900. So as I approach like 900... What? I have 800... I have over 900 right now, and it doesn't look full at all. Yeah, it says the treasury can hold 900. So I guess I just have a bunch of gold that's not in the treasury right now? Who's your little cobbler? Anyway. Doesn't matter. I can just keep... Oh, it's gonna get more expensive soon. And by soon, I mean now. Oh. Okay, what is my current cap? Does it say here? Maximum gold is 1900. Okay, so you have a 1000 gold cap that I guess is just kind of hanging out in this corner over here. What is this thing? Oh. Interesting. Alright, now I have 10 as opposed to 1. It's probably a good start. Get some dudes. La Mouroche. Holuk. Dickaprock. They're very expensive. Actually cheaper than my snots. Alright, an army of 5. I got a boss person. Conquer the good locations. Let's just send them on their way. Army. Yes. Okay, so dungeon entrance is out here, right? So... do I just throw you in this door? There it goes. I believe in you, sir. But also, let's send all of you here if I can. This is where the tutorial might have been. Picks all the creatures in this dungeon. Yeah. What's this? Picks up all the creatures. Yeah. Do I have to be on the screen to do it? Because it picks them all up. There you go. Aha, see, I don't need a tutorial, I can figure this out myself.
What can I do for you?
Alright guys, let's do a murder on all of the things in the area. We'll figure it out. How hard could it be to kill all of the remaining guard buildings? Where are the guard buildings at? Things mostly just kind of seem thistly and sad out here.
Blinding beams of light met the dauntless evil's creatures. They briefly squinted at the disgusting brightness. Finally, they grinned, satisfied. At last, they were able to carry the battle to the good people and were not limited to protecting themselves in a dungeon, as is the case with other representatives of the genre.
What is going on here? I feel a disturbance in the force.
The deeds of the conspicuous evil and its henchmen had not gone unnoticed. As a matter of fact, even a blind man could see the destruction they left behind them. As idiotic heroes do, they sent out a small patrol to scout the area.
Move out, men. Have a look around and report back to me. While I would love to accompany you myself, I'm currently, teaching myself to play the ukulele.
It's payday.
Somehow I think we'll survive payday. With my mountain of money that's being gathered. So where are these locations I'm supposed to conquer? Is there a version of this map that shows... oh, okay. My bad. The bottom left corner is the map for the overworld, and the bottom right corner is the map for my underworld. I was only looking at the bottom right one. I'm not doing amazingly. I could use one of those Nagas for healing purposes, because without that, my characters just kind of are going to lack longevity in the long term. But first I need to get evil points.
Wasn't that the Staggering Pony Tavern? By the goddess, I won't be getting any more roast pork there.
A bunch of them just went and leveled up. Not my boss, though. Hey, help them.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Oh, that's bad.
We should take a closer look.
That's specifically bad. Hey, stop that. Research. More units. Good. Okay. Now.
Defend the dungeon heart.
Ka. Quickly, before bad happens. There we go. Research more. Oh, more creatures requires more. That's bad. 5 out of 10 little snots. Did you kill my little snots? You little shits. How do you get evil points? I need to figure that out. I'm all out of things I can research now. Oh well. I was able to summon 2 more dudes, so they're able to help out. Guys, help. Oh god, no, I didn't mean to do that. You know what, I don't really care though, so... how do I... No. Put him down.
The armies of evil
Put
here?
him down.
Damn it all. How did that happen?
Trying to
Time
select them
call
all.
up the heavy guns. Right
Ah,
then,
fuck.
get
How do
ready
I
to
RT...
attack in waves.
Guys, how do I RTS?
Excuse me, sir. Wouldn't it make more sense if we attacked all at once? Where's the fun in that? Wave after wave, that's a strategy for real men.
Thanks to the enemy's limited tactical finesse, their destruction was virtually unavoidable.
I give
So
up.
It was time to decorate for the victory celebration, to get the beer and hire the orc dancers.
Okay, F2. F2 is the hotkey for mass selecting them. That's something to work with at least.
They're going to be child's play. Leave them to me. I mean, hold them back and let them hit you while I deal with them.
Where am I? There we go. Quickly. Back to trying to wipe them out before they get at us. Can I see them coming? Definitely optimal if I can deal with them on their way in. There's some warriors coming in. Let's see. Range attack, stop. In RTSs there's usually well, it's not A, because A is WASD is camera moving. Usually there's a mark location.
Armies of evil reached one of those disgustingly good places that had survived the destruction of Twistram. The ice-cold hand, I mean evil, would deal with it immediately.
If you have a select location, if you have attack location option, you can usually tell your characters to go to a particular location and they'll attack everything between you, them, and there. But yeah, it looks like if I click past enemies, my characters don't stop to attack them. So if that hotkey does exist, it's not immediately apparent where it is. I can afford that at least, I guess. Yeah, just that one. Because everything else needs evil points I don't have yet. You probably can't get them in this part of the story. And everything else is just not an option.
The little town of Good was destroyed
Yeah.
and turned into a hotbed of evilness. Cracks formed on the surface, and something, guess, evil rose from the depths. This evilness, in a practical spherical form, was the sweet lifeblood which flowed through the personified evil's veins. It stimulated the armies of evil and swelled their power. All this lofty blah blah without any impact on the game aside, it was another resource primarily or exclusively used for more powerful research. Delicious evilness flowed into the dungeon heart and filled it with power. New research was thus made available, which would help the dungeon to even greater power. The impatient evil immediately began to research something.
You know, identifying your own narration as being... like, lampshading it as being superfluous and overly verbose and easy to tune out doesn't make it not that. Like, if the joke is that it's exhausting and overwritten like a Kojima game, that doesn't necessarily make it better when you just go and acknowledge it. Just means you knew and you did it anyway. Alright, so we finally have evil points, which means I can finally get more dudes, and I also can learn how to make Nagas, which is great.
Evil had unlocked some new research and immediately set about trying it out.
Well, yes, I would like a Naga, if you can collect the money for me real quick. That's gonna take a bit. Alright. How do I select all? There we go. What is that? Oh, those are the evil points. Yep.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Now kill everything to death. Alright. Enemies are coming, but I have this guy. Haha. Gah. Yes. A Naga or two will significantly increase my longevity. But that Electro Hall, you can't do a lot here. The life energy. Increases life energy and damageable horde creatures. 5% life energy, 2% damage. And then some multiplayer stats that don't matter right now. You also just make Thalya stronger. How you guys doing over here? Kinda taking a while to murder this guy, huh? This will take a while, because it takes a while to get around in general, but you also need these guys to like. It takes a while to get around in general in this game, but you also need to defend the base as bad things head your way.
What do you want me to do?
Might not have time to finish this mission today. But we get the gist for it. So we have an underworld and overworld system where we're knocking down walls and we're building little chambers and so on that buff up the base, and there's a little tech tree, and on top of that, everybody needs to guys, nope, select. There we go. It's weirdly hard to select units.
Hey!
I think it's partly because there's a command in this game that allows you to, guys, nope. I didn't mean to do that. There's a command in this game that allows you to dig holes and do other stuff like that when you're underground, but there's also RTS commands, but they use the same language for their controls, which can make it weird to control the RTS stuff, then also do the base management. It's probably personal preference and that's it, but I kind of, on some level, kind of wish I was just building a base and the combat was kind of happening on its own in the background. Just because if I'm doing a base builder thing, I don't necessarily want to play an RTS. And an RTS that's simple enough for you to be able to multitask it with base building kind of feels like it's going to be kind of boring to play. At least so far, I'm just kind of sweeping these people across the map.
Everything good must die.
There we go. Fuck it up. Doing alright back here? They're doing alright. What was that? Oh, that's probably an autosave. We're good. We're good. Having played this preview and the other preview, there is of course the fact that I'm playing only the beginning of the game, so it's hard to judge. But I do get kind of a feeling that the pacing of these games isn't necessarily for me. It's a very time-consuming process.
The second island of the good was mercilessly overrun by the strategically savvy evil's hordes and turned into an evil island. Soon, more of that exquisite evilness would be bubbling to the surface. Excellent. Even better than in Dungeons 2. Not that I'm out to plug it or its fantastic add-on or anything. I'd never do that.
Maybe it's, maybe the issue is the idea of a campaign. Because if you took this kind of loop of building up your base and everything, but you applied it to the concept of like a campaign as being like one location, like you have your one super base you're building all game long, like in Frostpunk or They Are Billions. I feel like that might be more appealing than starting over every mission. That's a lot of times to get the basics of starting over and over again. That said, I'm only playing like the first mission in these Let's Tries, which isn't the best preview of the games as a whole necessarily. In the beginning, there's definitely very few features available, and I definitely hit the saturation point of like, yeah, I get it, really quickly. But then you still have to play like an hour of mission to move forward. So it's kind of the pacing's a little weird to spend so long developing that. I lost a dude.
Payday.
They're still mining and everything. I believe in y'all. You can do it.
The camp has been destroyed. Victory is ours. Evil is victorious. Ha! Good thing I switched sides.
And so it was that the good camp was destroyed by the battle-wise evil's army. Now it was time to take over all of the good islands, but that would be a cakewalk. Easy as stealing candy from a baby. Candy from a baby? Simple. My ass. Ever tried it? The screaming and crying and fetching their parents and family as reinforcements, and those little beasts bite pretty damn hard. Not that I have any personal experience, of course.
The ultimate, chaotic, absolute, whatever evil will be happy. I am. Father is gonna be so angry. Do you really know what you're doing? You wanted to be good. You had dedicated yourself to the light. Stop and really think about your deeds.
Can you please just stop with the golem thing? We already had too many Lord of the Rings gags in the last 2 games. Enough is enough.
Yeah, exactly. Just shut it, good me.
Too late. You already called the dwarf grimly, so that ship sailed. We did it.
Talia and the destructive evil's army had succeeded in destroying Twistram and the surrounding area. Good no longer existed in this land.
What the hell happened here?
Speaking of which,
Apparently, not quite all of the good guys were defeated. The dwarven King Grimly, an old drinking buddy of Tanos the Paladin, was just touring the country with his exorbitantly large army to ensure everything was in order. Thank God, the foresighted evil had provided for this contingency. The dungeon heart was charged with evilness and enough energy to act as a teleporter. For Thalya, of course.
Ooh, good. Then all the best, brave warriors, and stop them! Right! I'm out of here.
With a plop, Talia dissipated and disappeared to a faraway and safe place. The rest of the sacrificing evil's creatures looked astonished as their general fled, but only for a moment, as they already found themselves facing an unpleasant army of good.
This is the work of that damn pointy-eared wench. I always warned Tanos that those miserable dark elves couldn't be trusted. Criminals, the lot of them. But enough is enough. I'm going to find that shifty wench and use her ears as bookmarks.
you know what? I think that dwarf might be racist. Anyway, thanks for watching like always, guys. If you want to check out Dungeons 3, there's a link in the description. I'll see you guys next time.